Brian Shaw's second super match, this time against Brandon Allen. After I watched the first round, I was like, it's over. Brian Shaw is gonna get destroyed, and by round 3, he's gonna get flash pinned by Brandon Allen. Because it was one of the easiest center table slips for Brandon in round 1. Inside the straps, he hit his offensive king's move. The match stopped in center for maybe 10 seconds. Brian Shaw's wrist started getting flopped. Then when Brandon transitioned to a press, I think it was an elbow foul and a restart, but Brandon did the same thing all over again. He cracked Brian Shaw's wrist in the center, transitioned, finished the match with a press. 1-0 Brandon Allen. At this point, even Brian Shaw was thinking that maybe it's over. Everyone was thinking that way. But Neil Pickup and Devon Ladd were there in his corner, coaching him, teaching him. Second round, there was a surprise. Brian didn't let Brandon slip. He held on to his thumb and he pinned him just like he did against Eddie Hall. And there you go. There was the comeback. Third round, again this time somehow after some fouls and stuff, Brandon Allen did get the slip. He did get to the straps and I thought it's over. It's over. In fact, I was saying that Brandon should be going for this slip, this flop slip. He has a press, why not go for this? Because even in the second round, he was trying the same top roll slip and his thumb was getting held on by Brian Shaw. Then he had to do a massive elbow foul. In my opinion, these massive elbow fouls should be straight away losses. Brian Shaw should have won that round right then and there. But no, this is not the rule of arm wrestling, unfortunately. But in the straps, Brian amazed everyone. I think everyone should be amazed by that performance. He held on to Brandon Allen's king's move. He switched to a flop press and with a single surge he put Brandon's arm down, and Brandon started acting weird that it's shoulder crossing the center. It was pretty close, let's be honest, pretty close. But then the review was rejected. It wasn't crossing the center. 2-1 Brian Shaw. Again, Brandon Allen couldn't slip. Third round, fourth round of the match, he got just buried on the table by Brian Shaw. Luckily, he got an elbow foul. There was a restart. Again, he was confused whether he should go for this slip or this slip. He did something weird, something in between these two, and obviously he got dusted again. There was a second elbow foul on him and he got pinned too, I think, after that. So Brian Shaw is your winner. Brian Shaw pinned him without the straps and Brian Shaw pinned him in the straps. He pinned the king's move with a flop press. That was the most impressive part of this game. The less experienced guy made a comeback. A comeback victory is expected from the more experienced guys, but this was not the case in this match. Brian Shaw is happy. He's announcing something. I'm not sure what he's announcing. But again, now I want to see Brian Shaw versus John Brezink. John wouldn't be losing to Brian without the straps. Of course, he'll be able to slip. In the straps, I think he's going to make Brian's day difficult. But 6 months from now, this match can happen. Brian Shaw may have improved even more since then. I think this match must happen. It must happen. And what about Devon's advice? Never hold on. If Brian Shaw didn't hold on in this match, he would lose. If Brian Shaw didn't hold on in the Eddie Hall match, he would lose that too. And after losing 2 consecutive matches, he would quit. So do hold on. If you have the Brian Shaw, the grip strength of Brian Shaw, do hold on. That never hold on thing is only applicable to the top 5 guys in the world in each weight category, where the opponent will slip no matter how strong your grip is. It's not applicable here. It's not applicable in your match, most likely. That's it for this video. Brian Shaw versus John Brezink is next. Thanks for watching and I'll see you again.